back in university, I heard that some of the different faculties did, animal experimentation or used animals as part of the education process. And so then when I look into commercial agriculture and how things are going on there in many cases, I thought, well, it's not consistent with what I think my beliefs are. But the more I looked into it, I realized, oh, well, the dairy thing, the egg thing, I'm not really happy with that either. So I thought, well, the only way to go is vegan. Let's do the full deal. Let's give it a go. It just seemed like a more coherent reality to me than what I had before. Like I was, I believed it was correct, but I knew for certain that it was less wrong than the ignorant, reality that I had or belief system. My name's Karl. I've been in the Yukon for 10 years now, and I work as a television producer, and I've been hunting for about 7 years. My father was in the Navy, so we lived all across Canada from the East Coast to the West Coast. And as a child, I was always involved in the Boy Scouts, Cubs, Beavers, all that kind of thing. So I was always, a pretty well-rounded kid who ran around and rode his bike. And I didn't have any exposure to hunting as a kid. We weren't around guns or hunting of any kind. Just sort of a normal kid, I guess. So I finished university down south, and then was invited by my aunt to move up to the Yukon. And I don't know if I was the only vegan in the Yukon, but I might have been, at that time. I was working at a health food store that sold organic vegetables. So I got to see, organic red pepper that was flown in from Holland or something like that. And I remember that thinking, how is this sustainable or healthy to fly a red pepper around the world? And so that was sort of the first sort of chink in the armor for me, where I realized there's sort of more texture to reality than I was allowing for. Soon after I'd seen this red pepper be flown around the world first class, I'm sitting at dinner with my aunt and her family, and my uncle had harvested a moose, and here we had this moose spaghetti, but I didn't want to eat that, so I had my organic lettuce from Mexico, with 135 calories in my bowl, and I couldn't make it add up. I mean, I'd thought a bit about hunting, you read a bit about it, but I didn't have any exposure to it, and it was never tangible. So here, on the table was moose. It was pretty tangible. That really was a huge sort of earthquake to my whole world, really.
Well, let's just start heading towards it, see what the terrain does.
Yeah.
And see if we can't see them and make a bit of a call if we...
I moved to a small Aboriginal village, and where hunting was a way of life. It's just been part of their life, obviously, since forever. Sort of awoke in me the desire to learn more about that. I managed to be invited on a couple of hunts, and not be behind the rifle per se, but to sort of partake in that and see what it was like, and that sort of started me on that journey. As I saw, I experienced the Yukon, where you see more of how the natural world, has, really functions, something that we don't see in the city. But you see these draws, you see these rivers, producing moose. You see the, salmon coming from the ocean. You see the ebb and flow of the seasons, and then from that food arises. And so being part of that ecosystem made a lot of sense to me.
Well, my first kill was a mountain caribou. Yeah, we came on a herd of maybe 20 animals. This bull, he sees us, but he doesn't really know what we are. And I'm staring with this caribou, you know, for what seemed like forever. All the ideas, all the thinking, all the philosophy in the world didn't prepare me for actually doing it. But because I knew, you know, that this was good, this was the right thing, I was able to go ahead with it. Before being a hunter, I could have all of these ideas, all of these opinions, but you know, when you see an animal go down and you are the person that did that, that's something, you know, you could only understand if you do it yourself.
So this is one of my freezers. I got some moose here. I've got some black bear in here. I've got some more moose up here and some sheep meat here.
I'm excited to eat wild meat because when I go to the grocery store, you know, so much has been manufactured. It's made in a factory. It's who knows what's in it? Who knows if it's good for me? Now I go to my freezer, and if I've labeled it properly, I will remember. You know, I will have a week's worth of memories in each package.
Sheep backstrap, October 2017. Tough hunt. Cold, end of the season. Yeah, I think we got him on the 28th. Big coat on him. Yeah, it was a great way to finish off the season.
I butchered it. I caped it out on the mountain. I carried it off the hill. You know, I can tell hours worth of stories for that hunt, and then I can feed it to the people, and I can give them that food, and I can see how excited they are about it.
More or less, I'm sure everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants there to be abundant wildlife. You know, nobody's against wilderness or healthy ecosystems. So understanding one another, you know, what the real motivations are, you know, that kind of dialogue is absolutely critical to having a society that's able to, you know, resolve things and move forward in a unified fashion.